Hello, and welcome to Storytime with Saturena. Today I'm going to be reading from my Bedtime Hugs book. And the story that I chose today was The Princess and the Pea. This is a Sequoia Children's Publishing book, and the story was adapted by Laura Kalkman and illustrated by Carolyn Kroll. Let's get started. A handsome prince lives in a faraway land with his mother, the queen, and his father, the king. More than anything, the prince wants to get married and have a family of his own. Because he is a prince, the prince must marry a princess. So he sets out to find a special princess to be his bride. The prince travels to castles across the land searching for a princess. The prince meets many beautiful princesses. He is so handsome, every princess he meets wants to marry him. But he does not think any of the princesses are special enough to marry. After his long search through many kingdoms, he gives up and returns to the castle. He is very sad when he comes home. This makes the king and queen sad too. They decide to help the prince. They plan a royal ball and invite all the princesses in the kingdom. Lots of beautiful princesses come to the ball to meet the prince. They all want to marry the prince, but the prince finds something wrong with every one of them. Three days later, a princess from a distant kingdom travels near the prince's castle. She is riding down the road in a carriage that is pulled by horses. A driver steers the carriage. Suddenly, it begins to rain. Boom goes the thunder. Then lightning flashes across the dark sky. The storm scares the horses, and the carriages get stuck in the mud. "What shall we do now?" asked the prince's driver. "Our carriages are stuck in the mud. The horses cannot move it another inch." The princess is very smart. "I know," she says. "I will walk to that castle nearby and ask if we can spend the night. I know they will help us." Wet from the rain and covered in mud, the princess sets off for the prince's castle. The princess knocks on the heavy door of the castle. When the prince opens the door, he is stunned at the sight of the girl. The princess explains how her carriage got stuck in the mud. "You can stay here," says the prince. The queen does not believe the girl is really a princess at all. Still, because the prince likes her, the queen asks the servants to fix up a special bed just for the girl. The servants stack up 20 comfy mattresses. On top of the mattresses, they put 20 fluffy quilts. Then the queen tucks a tiny green pea underneath the mattress at the very bottom of the bed. If she truly is a princess, the queen says, she will not be able to sleep. Only a true princess will be able to feel the hard pea under these layers. When the princess sees the exquisite bed arranged for her, she says, "What a lovely bed." Tired from her journey, the princess climbs a ladder so she can get into the tall, cozy bed. She turns back the covers and settles down to sleep on top of the 20 comfy mattresses and 20 fluffy quilts. But when the princess rests her head on a pillow, she feels something lumpy inside the bed. "This tall bed is not cozy at all," says the princess to herself. "It is lumpy and bumpy. It feels like there's a giant rock in this bed." She tries to make herself comfortable by arranging the pillows. Then she fluffs up the blankets, but nothing works. She can still feel a cold, hard lump in the bed. Although the princess is very tired, she is not able to sleep. She tosses and turns all night in the lumpy, bumpy bed. The next morning, the sun shines brightly and the birds chirp. The princess walks to the royal garden to meet the king, queen, and the prince for breakfast. "How did you sleep?" the queen asked the princess. "Not very well," replies the princess. I couldn't sleep a wink. I found this green pea underneath the bottom mattress of my bed. The princess holds out the tiny pea for the queen to see. The queen is delighted. Only a real princess would feel the pea. The queen thinks happily. Only a special princess could feel the pea. The prince thinks happily. Surely this is the special princess the prince has been looking for. The prince asks the princess to marry him. The king and queen plan a joyful wedding and invite all the people in the kingdom. The prince and the princess get married, and everyone lives happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, The Princess and the Pea. See you next time.